Gaano kadalas kayong magkita? How often do you see each other? How often do you see each other? Isang beses sa isang linggo. Once a week. Once a week. Gaano kadalas kayong lumabas na mga kaibigan mo? How often do you go out with your friends? How often do you go out with your friends? Dalawang beses sa isang linggo. Twice a week. Twice a week. Gaano kadalas mong chine-check ang Facebook mo? How often do you check your Facebook? How often do you check your Facebook? Siguro mga 7 times a day. Probably 7 times a day. Probably 7 times a day. Gaano kadalas kang manood ng movie? How often do you watch a movie? How often do you watch a movie? Paminsan-minsan lang. Every now and then. Every now and then. Gaano kadalas kang manigarilyo? How often do you smoke? How often do you smoke? Kada 2 oras. Every 2 hours. Every 2 hours. Gaano kadalas kang tumaya sa loto? How often do you bet on loto? Isang beses bawat 2 linggo. Once every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks. Gaano kadalas kang magsimba? How often do you go to church? How often do you go to church? Tuwing Huwebes. Every Thursday. Every Thursday. That's all we have time for. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you next time. Bye for now.